Hi, this is going to be our Chapter 3 CSA review. So this is a review you got in class today, so we're just going to go over all the correct answers. Number 1 says to simplify the expression. Again, remember, simplifying the expression means combining like terms. Before I can combine like terms here, I have to have a common denominator since I have some fractions. The denominator I want to use is 8, so I'm just going to change my 3/4 to 6/8. And then when I add 6/8 m plus 1/8 m, I can get 7/8 m. Number 2, the two things that I can combine here is 4w and negative 6w. Those are going to give me negative 2w, and then I'm just going to add 12. Number 3, I do have to distribute before I combine any like terms. So I'm going to do 3 times 3 and 3 times negative 7m. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times negative 7m is negative 21m. And then I'm going to distribute the 2 as well to these sets of parentheses. 2 times 3m and 2 times 1. 2 times 3m is 6m, 2 times 1 is 2. Now I can combine my like terms. Negative 21m and positive 6m give me negative 15m. And 9 and 2 give me 11, so negative 15m plus 11. Number 4, the first set of parentheses won't change because I don't have anything to distribute, so 4a and negative 5. But the second set of parentheses will change. Remember, anytime I don't have a number here, I can think of it as a 1. So because I have this minus sign, it's actually distributing a negative 1. So negative 1 times 5a will be negative 5a, and negative 1 times 3 will be negative 3. 4a and negative 5a are going to give me negative 1a, or negative a, and then negative 5 and negative 3 give me negative 8. So my answer would be negative a minus 8. For number 5, it says to factor out the coefficient of the variable. Remember, the coefficient is the number with the variable, so we're going to be factoring out the number 5. So that just means I'm going to divide both of these numbers by 5. 5k divided by 5 is just 1k, and 6 divided by 5, you can say it's 1 1/5, or you could say it's 1.2. Either one would work, so your final answer would need to look like this. You need to put parentheses around your problem, and then the number that was factored out goes on the outside, so that 5 needs to go on the outside. So either the first one, 5 parentheses k plus 1 1/5, or 5 parentheses k plus 1.2. Both of those mean the same thing. Number 6, factoring out the expression, use the GCF. Remember, the GCF is the greatest common factor, so you have to think of all the numbers that 12 and 30 have in common. What I've done is listed the factors of 12 and 30. They have a lot of numbers in common, but the greatest one they have is the number 6. So that's the number I'm going to be factoring out. So I'm going to divide both of these numbers by 6. 12x divided by 6 is 2x, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. I'm going to keep that minus sign for a negative, put parentheses around it, and then add the 6 to the outside. So my answer for number 6 is 6 parentheses 2x minus 5. Number 7 is a word problem. Write an expression in simplest form that represents the perimeter of the polygon. If the perimeter is 74 meters, find the value of x. For this one, you have to add all the sides together. What I've done here is added all 5 sides together. 2x plus 3x minus 1 plus x plus 5 plus 3x plus 2x plus 4. The next thing you need to do is combine like terms. 2x plus 3x, that's 5x, plus another x is 6x. 6x plus 3x is 9x, plus another 2x is 11x. And then I need to combine all the constants. I'm going to do that different color just so you can see that a little better. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So it should be, or hang on. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then 6 plus Oh, this is what I went wrong. I accidentally circled the 2x. That's incorrect. It should be, that's still just a 2, or 2x. There you go. Gotta be careful. Don't make a mistake. So negative 1 plus 5 is 4, and then 4 plus 4 is 8. So I'm going to have 11x plus 8. And then that's my expression for perimeter. And it says if it is 74 meters, so if this is equal to 74 meters, find the value of x. So you basically just added all the sides together, combine your like terms, and then set it equal to 74 meters so we can solve for x. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. 74, take away 8, that's going to be 66, is equal to 11x. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 11. X will be equal to 6 meters. So here was part 1, and this was part 2 of your question. 11x plus 8 is part 1. X is equal to 6 is part 2. Number 8, each student in math class has to buy the items on the table. Write an expression in simplest form that represents the total cost for X students. So each student has to buy a $12.50 calculator, a $120.25 notebook, and a pack of pencils for $119. First thing you need to make sure is that you added all these together. So it's going to be 14, 5, 7, 8, 9, 4, and then 14. And then each student has to buy them, so X would represent students, so you have to multiply by the number of students you're going to have in that class. So your answer is going to be 14.94x. Number 9 says write the word sentence as an equation, then solve it. So the sum of a number a and negative 12 is 6. So a plus negative 12 is 6, or a, you could even write a minus 12 is equal to 6. Then it wants us to solve. So what I'm going to do to get negative 12 on the other side is I'm going to add 12. So that a is equal to 18. For number 10, 45 equals the quotient of a number n and 3. Remember, quotient means to divide, so I can write n over 3, or n divided by 3, either one. You could write this as well. 45 is equal to n divided by 3. Either way, you have to solve this using multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. N will be equal to 135. For number 11, to solve the equation, again, you just show the opposite operation. N is equal to 27 for number 11. Number 12, again, opposite operation. You do need to be careful here, because even though we're subtracting 4.7 from both sides, doesn't mean we're subtracting 4.7 from negative 8.3. It's actually just meaning there are 2 negatives here, so instead we needed to add those 2 negatives. 3 plus 7 is 10, 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So I get negative 13 for my answer for number 12. Again here, so here are your two-step equations. Remember, we have to add or subtract and then multiply or divide. So I'm going to subtract the 4.3, which again, subtracting 4.3 from negative 2.9 is like adding them, because same sign, add and keep. 9 plus 3 is 12, 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. So negative 7.2 is equal to 3f. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. F is going to be equal to negative 2.4. Negative 2.4. 14, again, same thing. Add or subtract first, and then multiply or divide. So I'm going to subtract 1, being careful here, because negative 7 and negative 1 give me negative 8 is equal to z over 2. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So z is equal to negative 16. Number 15, I have to add 5/8 here to solve. I'm not going to be adding though, because I have a negative 1/4 and a positive 5/8. So I need to probably subtract those because they're different signs. 1/4 I'm going to change to an eighth. I'm going to make it to be -2/8. So really what I'm doing is -2/8 and a +5/8. So -2/8 plus 5/8, different sign subtract. So I'm going to subtract 5 minus 2. I get 3/8, and that's going to be positive because my larger value is positive. So 15 is equal to 3/8. Number 16, remember you can multiply by the reciprocal here. So 5, 6x is equal to 3. We're technically dividing by 5, 6, but anytime you divide by a fraction, you got to flip the fraction. So I'm going to multiply by 6/5 on both sides. These cross out because 6/5 times 5/6 is 30/30, which is equal to x, which is exactly what we need. But 3 times 6/5 is going to give you 18/5, or 3 3/5. So x is equal to 3 3/5. Number 17, you see division, so you're going to use multiplication. So multiply by 6.2 on both sides. For number 17, x will be equal to -13.02. Number 18, you're dividing by -18. These two -18s cross out to just get the letter V, and then -414 divided by -18 is equal to +23. For number 19, it looks like you have to combine like terms first before you solve. 5x minus 8x is -3x. That's still equal to 15. And then I'm going to divide both sides by -3. X is equal to -5. Number 20, distribute first. 3 times x, 3 times 1, so that'd be 3x plus 3 is equal to -24. Subtract first. That's going to be -27 is equal to 3x, and then divide. X is equal to -9. Okay. Number 21, a taxi service charges an initial fee of $2 plus $1.80 per mile. How far did you travel if your total charge was $12.80? So first you need to write an equation. $2 everyone has to pay plus an additional $1.80. So $1.80 times x, and then you're equal to $12.80. Let's go ahead and solve it. So I'm going to subtract $2 from both sides. These 2's cancel out, so I'm going to get $1.80x is equal to $10.80. And then for number 21, I do need to divide by 180 on both sides. X is going to be equal to 6 miles. Number 22, the monthly dues from premium membership at a health club is $15 more than the cost of a standard one. So maybe the premium could be premium plus the 15, and then premium is equal to $40 a month. So they're wanting to know how much the standard is. Well, maybe even change this letter to S. The standard plus 15 will give you the $40 premium. So to find what the standard amount is, you would just subtract 15 from the $40. S will be equal to 25. So the standard membership is $25. And the last one on here, a large bag of Skittles costs $3. A medium bag of M&Ms costs $1.50. If we buy the same number of bags of each type of candy, so if X were the same number here, and I spend $36. One way to look at this is if you're buying basically a set of Skittles and M&Ms together, you can combine them, so you're always going to buy, if you just bought one bag of Skittles and one bag of M&Ms and you're buying the same number of them, you can put those together to get $4.50 X. So it's basically how many of those combinations can you find, or how many can you buy. You're going to divide both sides by 450, and 450 will go into 36 8 times. So you're going to buy 8 bags of Skittles and 8 bags of M&Ms. Okay, so X is equal to 8 for number 23. That's going to conclude our test review, so just make sure that you study for your test and check your calendar to see when it is. Thanks for tuning in.